What's going on, guys? This is the game that got me to Infinite. There was a recording problem and I couldn't actually start recording until the end of the 5th turn. I had Reality Gem turn whatever the location was before into Sinister London. It was pretty much just a guaranteed win with this deck, not working how this deck was supposed to, like the real big plays. Iron Lad is 2 Cosmos, and it's just it doesn't look good for the opponent right now. I'm trying to figure out the best way to play, even though it doesn't really matter. I think in the position that I was in, where this person just retreated, and it was probably the least climactic way to get to Infinite using this deck. Good day, everybody. It is October 24th. It is 6 p.m. Sun's going down, and there is someone mowing their lawn. But it is a great time to make this monthly video of mine because consistency with me is absolutely terrible, of getting to Infinite on my free-to-play account. This is a video that I always try to work hard at, to try to get to Infinite on my free-to-play account, because I feel it's very important that a game like this, you're able to get to the max level, you're able to get to Infinite, which is a huge goal for people in this game, without spending any money. Once maybe a couple months go by that I don't make Infinite with this account, then maybe this is going to be in a bad place. The last time I didn't make Infinite with this account was when Resident Evil 4 came out. And the reason this took me so long to get this done is because Lies of P came out, and it is phenomenal. If you were looking for a Bloodborne 2, a shorter version, Lies of P, phenomenal. Can't recommend it enough for you Soulsborne people. That being said, it has been delaying me since I've been playing that game so much to actually get to Infinite. But I did. I got to Infinite last night in a very anticlimactic way, which you saw at the beginning of this video. And I was using this account. Now, this is a variation of the deck that I made for my wife because she loves Control. And I saw somebody using Elsa in this deck in Thanos. And so I went to her Control deck that she uses. I put in Elsa, I put in Thanos, and I think I made 1 or 2 other changes. And she's been doing great. She's not an expert player. She's a good player. And she's already gotten 2 Infinite tickets on Conquest using this deck. But this isn't the deck that she's using. What's the difference? There's no Elsa. Most of the time when you see this deck, Elsa's going to be there because almost everybody buys the season pass, but not me. Not on this account. This account is a free-to-play account. So instead of Elsa, I put in, I think it was Cosmo or Shang-Chi. The other deck has Kitty Pryde in it because Kitty Pryde is great with Elsa, but since I don't have Elsa, why would I have Kitty Pryde in there? So this deck has been doing phenomenal. Like I said, it got me to Infinite, and I started using this in the mid 80s or high 80s. Before that, I was using the Hella deck that's been going around, which I had another video, and that's what got me to Infinite last month. This deck has been doing phenomenally. So how exactly does this specific deck work? Some of the tips, and I'm going to probably get out of the screen in a minute, is using Time Stone on 3 to then try to get Xavier on 4 is fantastic, because then you're also beating out if the other person has a Daredevil, which I've been seeing quite a big uptick with. Also, trying to fill up lanes and having like Jeff there or something so that you can block them from doing anything and kind of faking them out, being able to move a card like Jeff out and putting a stronger card back in with there. Cosmo also does some fantastic things. There's going to be gameplay showing soon where I move Cosmo to a different location where I figure this person is going to probably play Ghost Rider, and they did. But even though I moved Cosmo, I didn't have priority, so my move didn't count until after they played Ghost Rider. So they were still able to Ghost Rider and get Red Skull. I still won that game, but it was frustrating. He does fantastic things because since he didn't work out, Shang-Chi came in and helped out with that again. With Professor X out, it's so much easier to get Alioth out and get a great Alioth play. Getting initiative with this is not that hard at all, especially with the Infinity Stones being able to stack certain lanes and put them in certain places. One of the hardest decks to really go against is still kind of like the Shuri Red Skull deck. It's definitely a pain. Other control decks aren't as bad as you would think. Probably the deck I had the most struggle with, where I felt like I really didn't have a chance to win, are Loki decks. I thought Loki decks were just, they were too much for me, really. And it sucked. But if someone is able to Loki and you don't have Mobius out, which is one of the main reasons I have them, just in case, but if they do Loki and your Mobius is not out just yet, they're able to Alioth, like, you know, turn 5 and just do all this crazy stuff with it. I did have some trouble with what is it? The new to a point, but it's still the old deck of Odin and White Tiger and an on reveal build. Now the gameplay that's showing, these are all just the wins, the losses. There was a good amount, but I wanted to try to keep this condensed, so you're mostly just gonna be looking at just all the wins that I've had, or most of the wins. I didn't try to post wins that were obviously against bots. All right. So another great thing you could do with this game, where we're with this deck, is a Cosmo Thanos type of combo, where there is that game that it didn't work out too well with, or it didn't work out too well when I tried to move Cosmo, but since I didn't have priority, which I think is still dumb, that Cosmo went to a lane, and it was there the same as Ghost Rider was, but since I didn't have priority, the way the game works is the person with priority, their moves and their turn goes first, and then even though Cosmo, the cards that you move are on that same lane, they don't count until it's actually your turn. Still, being able to Space Stone and then move Cosmo to another lane where people aren't thinking like, okay, this lane's Cosmo, I'm not going to put anything here, I'm going to just start playing on reveal things in this other place. Amazing. Especially if you're able to get Cosmo out on one lane. So you do Xavier on 4, and then on turn 5 you play Space Stone, where it's definitely always a tempting stone to play right away, because how often are you really going to move a card? And on top of that, it's nice to really get that extra card in your hand. If you do have good enough cards and you are able to wait to play Space Stone on turn 5 after Xavier's out and you have initiative, I think that's phenomenal. Especially if you don't have Alioth available. If you do have Alioth available and Cosmo is out and you don't play Space Stone on turn 5, it is a phenomenal thing, since Cosmo is going to be in one lane, Xavier is locking down the other lane, that you'll be able to Alioth on the free lane, and most likely you'll get the win from there. The biggest advice I have for using this specific deck is use the stones on mostly one location, where you use the Time Stone on 3 and then Xavier on 4. So this way, even though you're going to be locking down that lane, having those extra smaller points is just fantastic to have. So you would have like Time Stone, maybe Reality Stone or something else. So this way there would be 5 power there. The next thing is try not to fill up a lane with Xavier, because just in case you need to get Jeff there is a great way to help get that little extra points. Because again, even though your opponent may know, oh, you know, they have Jeff, even if Jeff is already out in a different location, or Jeff is actually in that spot as well, sometimes the opponent doesn't think that, oh, I can move Jeff, or their Jeff can be played there, or anything else. So it does get a good amount of surprise in there as well. The next thing is Klaw. Klaw has been phenomenal in this deck, where he has, if you're able to do Xavier on any of either the middle lane or the right lane, and you are losing by a little bit, and you can try to do that on purpose where they do have a card there. It's like, okay, well, if they have Jeff and then they do that, because Jeff will probably win that location, especially if they already have a Jeff out, then you can put Klaw there, and it's just like, well, shit, they are just moved their Jeff, so that's now a win, and that could be like a turn 6 play if you want, if you don't have Alioth. And again, it's always tough to type of gauge this exactly for what to do. Iron Lad is not needed in this deck, but he is amazing in this deck. Jubilee, I think, would also be really well with him too. What's great about Iron Lad is if you get one of the stones that draw a card, you'll get the effect of the stone, and then you'll draw that card, so this way you don't have like double the next turn to a point. Because that's one of the most disappointing things about Iron Lad is you play Iron Lad, and then you scan, you play the card from the top of your deck, and let's just say it's not like too great of a card, let's say it's, you know, like Carnage or a card you don't really need two of, like Mobius, then it's just like, okay, well, now I'm going to have another Mobius in my hand. It's just waste of cards. So that's where Jubilee is better. If you don't have Iron Lad, there might be better substitutes out there, but I think Iron Lad is absolutely amazing in this. Thanos with that 20 power and Power Stone, it's nice, but again, everybody who plays Thanos consistently knows that the power of Thanos is not actually getting the Power Stone out and that extra 10 power. It's really getting that, it's really just the power of the stones itself. If you do have a lot of cards or gems in your hand, including Power Stone, so if your opening hand is something where, let's just say before turn 3, you have like Power Stone, Time Stone, and Xavier. If you have Power Stone even in your opening hand, that should go into a location where you're planning on putting Xavier. And then hopefully Time Stone too. That's probably one of the best setups you can do, where you put Power Stone in one location, and then turn 3, try not to spend it before turn 3, Time Stone on turn 3 at that same location as Power Stone, and then Xavier at that location as well. So that will be 7 power for you. If you're able to get the other stones out, that's great, but it's also 7 power at that specific location, which by turn 4 might be easy, but your opponent might be trying to space things out. So look out for that. Those are pretty much the biggest things that I have. Again, the best advice that I would have for somebody is if you have your opening hand and Time Stone is in it, don't play it. Do not play Time Stone until turn 3, because if you play Time Stone on turn 3, you'll be able to get Xavier, hopefully, if not Vision, Klaw, Blue Marvel, one of those a turn early on 4. And that is huge, especially if you're able to get something like Vision out. If you don't have Xavier available, then you can just keep moving them back and forth and kind of messing with priority. So if you want priority or if you don't want priority, and most of the time with this deck you do because of Alioth, you'll be able to control that for 2 turns instead of just that 1 turn where you really have no control if you play Vision on turn 5, because you can move them once, but that extra possible priority thing is fantastic to do. That is all I got. This might be a little bit on the longer side, but anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Hopefully you'll be able to get to Infinite with this type of deck as well. It has been really consistent, and again, you don't need to spend money in this game to actually win. You don't have to, guys. You can get free to play. Like, subscribe. Again, I try to make more videos, and I from the bottom of my heart, I am going to try to make a little bit more videos because there's a lot to talk about with this game. And I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll talk to you guys later.
All systems go.